Bartels, Tim Forrest, Tom Osman, Tyler Osman, Tim Osman, and Geraldine Shea. Key makeup artist Richard Arrington. Key hairstylist Enid Arias. Hairstylist to Amy Madigan, L. Elliott. Hair consultant Donald Morand. Additional makeup artists Bonita DeHaven, Cindy Stratton, Sharon McDonald, and Leslie Ehrman. Costume supervisor P.K. Morris. Wardrobe assistants Pamela Nurek and Cynthia Roby. Property master Douglas Fox. Assistant property master Doug DeRose. Property production assistant Craig Schaefer. Art director Leslie McDonald. Set director Nancy Haig. Assistant set director Paige Augustine. Lead decorator Brian Cash. Set dressers Claire Gall and Leslie Linville. Set designers Dawn Snyder and Kathleen McKernan. Swing gang Jess Moreno, James Meehan, Dan Jansen, John Blackman, and Kurt Walliser. Construction coordinator set Frank Viviano. Construction foreman John Snyder. Gang boss Eric Schultz. Carpenters Kim McDonald, John Moore, Gene Tully, Steve Feldman, Joseph Huseman, Jr., and William Primising. Scenic artist George Hinzo. Scenic painter Gilbert Johnquist. Construction coordinator farm Stephen L. Meyer. Construction foreman Gary Schmidt. Lead carpenter Bob Rowling. Carpenters Dennis Tully, William Gorley, Tim Gorley, Steve Koch, Richard Hess, Stan Myers, Roger Kelzer, Pat Swan, and Phil Hyde. Construction electrician Gene Schlecht. Farm advisor Eldon Trum. Gardener Carol Petrick. Baseball field construction Pacific Sod and Grain Pro Turf Division Neil Beeson. Head baseball coach Raul Dedeau. Assistant baseball coach Don Buford. Iowa baseball coach Gene Potts. Baseball trainer Jay Hemmond. Casting assistant Los Angeles Pam Jekyll. Iowa casting coordinator Batgirl Susan Rydell. Casting assistants Iowa Lynn Allison, Jim Meyer, and Tom Robbins. Location managers Mitch Marcus and Bob Hudgens. Assistant location manager Steve Mose. Production coordinator Pamela Hoffman. Production secretary Patricia Walsh. Production accountant James McCarthy. Assistant accountant Becky Hilliard. Promotional coordinator Robert H. Lemmer. Unit publicist Dave Fulton. Still photographer Melinda Sue Gordon. Special effects Robbie Knott. Stunt coordinator Randy Peters. Location projectionist Bill Durr. Video playback Brian Roberts, Steve Braderick, and Dick Clark. Key set medic Peter Rathje. Set nurse Janice McDonnell. Teacher Christine Resch. Caterer Sunrise Catering. Craft service Patrick Crowley and Ken Kringle. Transportation coordinator Randy Peters. Transportation captain Candace Wells. Transportation co-captain Billy Palmer. Film truck driver Mike Kane. Chapman crane driver Dan Lovelace. Property truck driver Ross Hobday. Shotmaker operator Tim Perry. Honey wagon driver Steve Humphrey. Drivers William Battalato, Michael McMahon, Don Feeney, Joe Feeney, Lonnie Craigle, Doug Tahn, Jeff Carney, John Miller, Dave Wilford, Mary Delaney, and Don Beck. Production associates Gene Fry, Wendy Spence, Kelly LeClaire, Chris Prue, Brett Eilers, Derek Johansson, Mary Coyle, and Eric Salmu. Musco Mobile Lighting General Manager David Crookham. Technicians Roger Spurgeon, Brad Chellistvig, Mike DeMayer, George Glass, Jerome Feinart, Todd Braden, Brian Palpiter, and Ron Konecki. First Assistant Editor Justine Turner. Apprentice Editors Mitch Marcus and Howard Spiro. Assistant Editor Johanna Jimenez. Negative Cutter Gary Burritt. Supervising Sound Editor Sandy Gendler. Sound Editors Noah Blau, Jamie Parker, Niels Jensen, Donald Meloth, and John Morris. Supervising ADR Editor Becky Sullivan Koblenz. Supervising Foley Editor Solange Swab-Boiseau. Foley Editor Donald Flick. Assistant Sound Editors Neil Eric Wenger and Lee Grubin. Apprentice Sound Editor Kathy Chase. Post-Production Facilities Lionsgate Studios. ADR Mixer Bob Duchesne, CAS. ADR Recordist Elizabeth Snyder DeSantis. Loop Group Lee French. Foley Artists Joan Rowe and Jerry Trent. Foley Mixer Lee Tinkham. Foley Recordist Robert Edmondson. Sound Effects Recording Ken Johnson. Re-recorded at Goldwyn Sound Facility. Re-recording mixers Donald O. Mitchell, Kevin O'Connell and Rick Klein. Recordists, Jim Cavaretta, Jack Keller, and Jeanette Cremarosa. Music scoring mixer, Sean Murphy. Additional orchestrations, Billy May. Instrumental soloists, Ralph Grierson, Tony Hennigan, James Horner, Mike Taylor, and Ian Underwood. Music editors, Jim Henriksen and Nancy Fogarty. Associate music editor, Jim Flamberg. Special visual effects by Industrial Light and Magic. Visual effects supervisor, Bruce Nicholson. Visual effects camera operators, Kim Marks and Marty Rosenberg. Effects production manager, Ian Bryce. Effects production supervisor, Susan Fritz Monahan. Effects coordinator, Kim Nelson. Optical photography supervisor, Peg Hunter. Matte artist, Matthew Urachik. Matte visual consultant, Richard Urachik. Matte coordinator, Robert Hippard. Opening montage, Melinda Sue Gordon. Montage historical sources, American Stock Photos, California Historical Society, Producers Library Service, 20th Century Fox Movietone News Incorporated, UCLA Film and Television Archive, Wide World Photos, Sherman Grinberg Film Libraries. Boston 2nd Unit Production, Popolo Productions Incorporated. Boston 2nd Unit Director, Lou Popolo. Assistant to Lou Popolo, Janice Wild. Director of Photography, Ricky Bravo. Camera Operator, Peter Norman. First Assistant Camera, Focus, Ricky Bravo Jr. Second Assistant Camera, Ralph Bradafino. Panaglide Operator, Rick Raphael. Panaglide Assistant, Richard Cruedo. Production Associate, Lou Popolo Jr. Title Design, Dan Perry. Film Processing, Duart. Color Timers, Dale Gran and Bob Higgins. Titles and Opticals, Cinema Research Corporation. Optical Supervisor, Clay Marsh. Insurance, Albert G. Rubin. Grip and Electrical Equipment, Film Trucks. Completion Bond, The Completion Bond Company. Assistants to Phil Alden Robinson, Beth Fortenberry and Jane DeVries. Assistants to Lawrence Gordon, Stacy Bassoff and Kellett Ty. Assistant to Charles Gordon, Annie Saunders. Assistant to Brian Frankish, Robert H. Lemmer. Assistant to Kevin Costner, Allison Conant. Music, Crazy, written by Willie Nelson, performed by Beverly D'Angelo. Daydream, written by John Sebastian, performed by the Lovin' Spoonful, courtesy of Buddha Records by arrangement with Warner Special Products. Jessica, written by Dickie Betts, performed by the Allman Brothers Band, courtesy of Polygram Records Incorporated. China Grove, written by Tom Johnston, performed by the Doobie Brothers, courtesy of Warner Brothers Records Incorporated by arrangement with Warner Special Products. Lotus Blossom, written by Billy Strayhorn, performed by Duke Ellington, courtesy of Bluebird Records, RCA Records. Panaflex Camera and Lenses by Panavision. Color by Deluxe. Dolby Stereo. Dolby Spectral Recording in selected theaters. Special thanks to Waveform Corporation, Major League Baseball, the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's, Wendell Jarvis and Susan Reynolds, Iowa Film Office, Rob Appel, Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce, Connie Trenkamp, Dyersville Chamber of Commerce, and especially to Don Lansing, Al Amescamp, and the people of Dubuque County, Iowa, and Galena, Illinois. Copyright 1989 by Universal City Studios, Incorporated. All rights reserved. The characters and events depicted in this photoplay are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. This motion picture is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. Original soundtrack album available on Novus RCA Records, LPs, cassettes, and CDs. A title appears, For Our Parents. Another title. This motion picture has been rated PG, parental guidance suggested, by the Classification and Rating Administration. Some material may not be suitable for children.